I wasn't sure if I'd enjoy the sports pages because generally I don't really care about sports. But actually, the first half of this I absolutely loved. The second half I didn't care for, but I'll talk about that in a moment. This was released in 2001. It's directed by Richard Benjamin and it's written by George Zaloom, Todd and Don Marquis, and we have a cast including Bob Newhart, Eugene Levy, Kelsey Grammer. It's because of Kelsey Grammer that I became aware of this and was going to watch it. I wasn't really expecting to enjoy it, but then I realised the first story, there are two stories, and the first one is actually based in a courtroom, and immediately I got excited because I love courtroom dramas, and I actually found it to be really, really funny, and this is because of the character who is on the stand. And I don't want to go into too much detail, but it's about somebody, Doc Waddems, who killed Kelsey Grammer's character, Howard Greene. Well, on the green, they were playing golf, and he admits it. He admits it immediately, and then he tells the story about what happened. And it doesn't sound funny, but it really, really is very well written. I thought Newhart gave an amazing performance, and the courtroom scene was just absolutely fantastic. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. And the second story, I didn't really care about. It taught me something. Oh, the first story I didn't mention, but the first story is called Why Doc Waddems Never Broke 100. And the second story is called The Heidi Bowl, which is about something that I'd never heard of. It's about the Heidi Bowl or the Heidi game, which was something that happened during a football game. I won't go into too much detail in case you don't want to know, but it's actually more interesting than it sounds. It's not actually about football. Well, kind of is, kind of isn't. But I learned that it gave me something to Google and I learned a bit about it, so that was interesting. But with regards to the short itself, and I say short, each one is about 40-45 minutes, so actually both stories are borderline feature length anyway. And the second story is just really chaotic. We're constantly jumping back and forth between different characters. I didn't find it interesting. I didn't find it engaging. I didn't find the narrative to be as fascinating as the actual Heidi game. The information I read about it, I did enjoy, but the actual short film itself, I didn't really care for. I didn't think it worked very well. It was very chaotic and completely all over the place. Too many characters. It wasn't funny. It just felt very different to the first film. And in some ways, that's not a bad thing. Having two films within a film that both feel very different can be good. But because I didn't enjoy it, that difference for me didn't work very well. So unfortunately, the second part, I really didn't care for. But I really did love the first one. I absolutely adored it. And I kind of wish it didn't need to be longer. Absolutely didn't need to be longer. But I do wish that actually it was longer. I think that would have been really delightful to have another 20-30 minutes of that story. I think that could have been really wonderful. But nevertheless, what we got, I absolutely loved. The second story, I did not care for. But nevertheless, I came away from the sports pages feeling quite satisfied. And feeling glad that I bought the DVD. I think that was an import. I don't think it was released. In fact, I'll double check so I can give correct information. Yes, from what I can tell, I had to import the DVD. It was Region 1, so that's worth bearing in mind if you're in the UK and you decide to watch this. At the time of recording, at least, I can't see it streaming anywhere, and it doesn't appear to have had a UK DVD release. But if you're curious, I'd say the first part is actually worth it. I think it's genuinely worth the money. I can't remember how much exactly I paid for this, but the results, in fact, I can tell you, I paid actually not a lot of money. I got this for £4.95, and that was an import as well. So that was actually really, really very affordable for an import. That's with free delivery as well. So I guess the point there is that if you do want to buy it, you might be able to find it at quite a bargain price. $4.94 for that first film, the first film of the two films, absolutely worth every penny. The second film I don't care for, but I'm really happy with the first one. So I think I've rambled a little bit here. The point there is that the sports pages is a film of two halves, quite literally. The first half I absolutely loved every second of. The second half did not care for, but I came away from it feeling satisfied. The editing is really great. Maybe a little bit too chaotic in the second half, but in general it's pretty good. The acting's really good. The characters in the first half are very, very well written. So I'm happy. It's not perfect, but I don't mind at all having spent the money on it. I thought the sports pages was ultimately definitely something that I'm glad I watched.